Welcome back to Panda Audiobooks. Jian Wushuang has silenced his critics within the sect, but his journey toward the peak of the Azure Heaven Domain is just beginning. In our last episode, Wushuang crushed the core disciples, proving that his talent is far beyond the local standards. Today, we go beyond the sect walls. Chapters 91 through 95 follow Wushuang as he enters a forbidden cultivation ground, a place filled with ancient traps and lethal spirits. He isn't just looking for energy, he's hunting for a legendary artifact rumored to be linked to the heavenly creation skill. However, he isn't alone. A powerful enemy from a rival domain has tracked him into the shadows, turning a training mission into a desperate battle for survival. Ancient secrets and deadly shadows await. Chapter 91 starts right now. Chapter 91. Who is the prey? On the bumpy earth, Jian Wushuang was vehemently fighting with a Moonfire Lion who was in the initial Gold Core realm. If he wanted to, Jian Wushuang could have easily killed the Moonfire Lion. But it was obvious that he did not intend to do so. It's the third time that I've had a fierce fight with a spirit beast and deliberately made tremendous noises. Are there any dark silver guards around that will be attracted by it? Jian Wushuang was not sure because only other spirit beasts had been attracted the last two times. The intense battle continued for a while, and then Jian Wushuang very fiercely killed the Moonfire Lion. A silver-haired man, standing behind a nearby tree, watched this scene silently. At the moment, he concentrated his attention and then quietly rushed out. Beat the air again. Jian Wushuang felt pity as he went to pick up the core of the Moonfire Lion. At that moment, a slight wind came suddenly. Common warriors, even the warriors in the profound Gold Core realm, might not have been able to sense such a light sound, but Jian Wushuang could hear the sound clearly because he had comprehended the sword's sense of gale. He's finally come. Jian Wushuang felt happy, and in the next moment, he turned around and looked over. That warrior in silver was worthy of being a professional killer of the Dark Silver Guard. He picked a very good time for assassination, as Jian Wushuang had his back toward him. When he burst out, he directly stabbed at Jian Wushuang's neck with a purple soft sword. The sword was so fast, and the warrior in silver was full of confidence with this move. How wonderful the opportunity is! And what a perfect assassination! Even if he is a real expert in the profound Gold Core realm, he could not withstand my sword. There is no doubt that this guy is going to die, and the 17th Golden Dragon Ring will be had. The warrior in silver smiled to himself, along with the smile on his face. But unexpectedly, Jian Wushuang, who had his back toward him the entire time, suddenly turned around with a pair of cold eyes. And then, Jian Wushuang grinned at him. That smile gave a sudden scare to the warrior in silver. Damn! As a Dark Silver Guard, years of experience told him that he had fallen into a trap. Sure enough, Jian Wushuang directly fought back. Shua! A beautiful scarlet sword light blazed out and instantly confronted the purple soft sword of the warrior in silver directly. However, in the next moment, that scarlet sword light disappeared like an unreal image. When it appeared again, the sword had arrived at his chest. What? The warrior in silver was shocked. He was violently beaten back the first time. The scarlet sword light flashed across his chest. His silver cape was torn and a long wound appeared on his chest. How powerful! The warrior in silver was intimidated. He was not good at face-to-face slaughtering, he was in the profound Gold Core realm at least. However, when he fought with Jian Wushuang, he felt that he had gone through Gate of Hell after just one encounter. At this moment, the strength that was revealed by Jian Wushuang even horrified him. He should have had the self-confidence to take Jian Wushuang as prey just now, with the purpose of taking that golden dragon ring that was in his hand. But now it seemed, out of the two of them, who was the hunter, and who was the prey? You are a Dark Silver Guard, right? Jian Wushuang suddenly asked. Heh. The warrior in silver looked up at Jian Wushuang with astonishment. How could he know his identity? I have taken your purple soft sword. A grin spread over Jian Wushuang's face. Then, as he moved, the spiritual power in his body broke out while sword essence violently rushed into sky simultaneously. Shua! As it stabbed, the sword shadow made people feel that it was slow, but in fact, Its true speed was so fast that it was scary. The fourth move of formless swordsmanship. 100 variations. The warrior in silver was scared and had intended to stop it, but that sword was too fast. When he just raised the purple soft sword in his hand, that slow sword had appeared in front of his throat and then pierced his throat directly. Jian Wushuang picked up the purple soft sword from the warrior in silver, and looked at the engraving 9 on its sword hilt. 2 purple soft swords. Jian Wushuang smiled, and then he checked the ring of heaven and earth left by the man in silver. As expected, like that dark silver guard from before, both of them had collected a lot of golden dragon rings. This time, there are 16 in total, which means that he had killed 16 golden dragon guards. Jian Wushuang was astonished. The true strength of these dark silver guards was actually not frightening, but their ability of assassination was indeed so strong that people in the profound gold core realm might be directly killed if they were careless. Keep moving. Jian Wushuang continued to go further in the innumerable huge mountains. Just like before, he stopped at each section of the road to find a spirit beast in the initial gold core realm and impetuously fight with them. He deliberately made it a big scene so he could attract the dark silver guards that came on their own initiative. But unfortunately, his luck seemed to have completely run out. Over the next 3 days, Jian Wushuang did not come across a third dark silver guard. In the innumerable huge mountains, a breeze blew with a mild bloody odor. Be careful. Buck up, a man said in a low voice. And a small team with a dozen people slowly moved ahead in the jungle. Most of them in this small team looked pale, even some of their eyes were full of terror. Suddenly, the grass in the front shook. Who is it? A sudden shout was raised, and all the people in the team looked over at the grass. Crash! The grass then parted to 2 sides. A black-robed youth wearing a long sword slowly appeared in front of these people. It was Jian Wushuang. Heh! Jian Wushuang looked up at this small team of a dozen people without any astonishment in his eyes. The innumerable huge mountains were boundless. There were a lot of nature treasures and countless spirit beasts. It was a perfect place for warriors to cultivate themselves, so it was common to encounter other people occasionally. When seeing Jian Wushuang, the whole team felt nervous. But soon after, they perceived that Jian Wushuang was only a warrior at the level of spiritual C, so they relaxed. Where does this reckless dude come from? Get out now, the team's leader, who had bird eyes, immediately shouted. Someone in the spiritual sea realm dares to adventure in the innumerable huge mountains alone? You are really heading for death. The rest of the team members also laughed at him, which lightened the tense atmosphere at that moment. Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. He was not angry about their words, but their expressions attracted his attention. These people obviously feel some degree of fear, Jian Wushuang thought. People who dare to adventure in the innumerable huge mountains generally have experienced life and death, so it's impossible for common things to make them feel scared. Unless... Jian Wushuang glanced at their hands quickly, and there surely were 4 people who wore golden dragon rings on their fingers. Chapter 92. The Mutation of Sword Soul. It seems that I am being watched. With a cryptic smile, Jian Wushuang said nothing to the people in front, moving into the jungle quickly and vanishing from their view. After Jian Wushuang left, someone in the team started to talk. What a surprise! I initially thought that he was that guy. Unexpectedly, he's a warrior at the level of spiritual C. A warrior with just a level of spiritual C dares to adventure in the innumerable huge mountains. He must be really bold. I think he isn't bold, just suicidal. These 2 men were walking abreast and talking. Suddenly, a silvery ghost-like figure appeared in front of one man while a sword light stabbed at him. The man could react. After the sword light slashed across his throat, he was immediately killed. Just as quickly, the silvery ghost-like figure disappeared. Hey, do you think that the horrible guy has left? The other man was still talking to that man and looking towards him. He saw the corpse of that man slowly falling to the ground. Oh! The strong man screamed and all the other members of the team came over for a look. What happened? They asked. This asshole. It's him again. He's coming. The bad guy. He's coming again. Devil. Devil. He's a devil. Suddenly the whole team became restless and terrified again. It should be known that this team originally had over 30 people. But now there was just a half alive, the other half of them were killed by this devil. From start to end, they had not even seen the devil's face clearly. Whoosh! The sound of rushing wind was heard again. A silvery figure like a ghost moved swiftly and showed up in front of the strong man. The strong man saw a sword light with difficulty and then was killed directly. The silvery figure moved toward the jungle again. It's so easy to kill these people. The dark silver guard laughed. Shortly after he had just entered the jungle, he found a black-robed youth standing here. With his hand clasping his wrists behind his back, the black-robed youth watched him with interest. It seemed that the black-robed young man had been waiting for him. Who and what are you doing here? The dark silver guard felt surprised, but the black-robed youth in front of him had already started to attack him. The dark silver guard was outclassed by a formidable sword shadow filled with strong earth sword essence. The dark silver guard changed his countenance at once and hastily brandished his purple soft sword to parry. Bang! The sword shadow hit the purple soft sword and twisted it due to the powerful force. The dark silver guard felt his palm numb and a stinging pain. He flew out of the jungle and staggered back a few steps before standing firmly. Shua! All of the people in the team with more than 10 members looked at him together. Damn it! The dark silver guard said and had a ghastly expression. The 7th. The other silvery figure showed up at the side of the dark silver guard, staring with alertness at the black-robed youth who was walking towards them slowly. Oh! There are 2 guys. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows and felt delighted secretly. Jian Wushuang followed the team before. Perceiving the countenance of the people in the team, Jian Wushuang guessed that they might be under surveillance of the dark silver guard. So he didn't leave and hid in the jungle. As he expected, the dark silver guard appeared. But lucky for him, the team was waylaid by 2 instead of only 1 dark silver guard. 2 for 1. Who are you? The man with bird eyes, the leader of the team, shouted to them immediately when he saw Jian Wushuang and 2 dark silver guards. All the other members took a deep breath and waited to see what would happen next. It's not a matter of who I am. You need to know that they're targeting to your team. And I am targeting them, Jian Wushuang laughed and said. Those 2 guys staring at us. The man with bird eyes looked at the 2 dark silver guards and said, the devils? Are them? 2 warriors, who are in the profound gold core realm. Immediately, the whole team became restless. With a solemn expression, the 2 dark silver guards did not care about the man with bird eyes and his team, but they were afraid of Jian Wushuang standing in front of them. Although Jian Wushuang's cultivation of spiritual power was just at the level of spiritual sea, no one dared to regard him as a common spiritual sea realm warrior in terms of that movements he showed just now. Old 7th. We are exposed. It's not our strength to slaughter directly. We should leave now. Hurry up. The dark silver guard, who had never fought with Jian Wushuang, said, okay. The other dark silver guard nodded heavily. Both of them transformed into beams of flowing light and fled into the jungle at the side. Ha ha! Do you think you can escape? A cold voice emerged and then Jian Wushuang stabbed at the 2 dark silver guards with his triple-kill sword. The sword shadow moved so quickly and was like a flash of lightning streaking through the void. A gust of wind roared. The wind stopped and the swords fell to the ground at the same time. Everything returned to peace. The 2 dark silver guards' eyes widened in shock. They looked incredulously at their chests which had been poked through. The 2 dead bodies dropped to the ground at the same time. Jian Wushuang held the triple-kill sword with blood dripping from the sword edge. I have already mastered the 5th move of the formless swordsmanship. Jian Wushuang's lips curled into a small smile. The 5th move of the formless swordsmanship was faster and more ruthless than the 4th move 100 variations. The sword was brandished. The wind stopped and then the sword dropped. The 2 dark silver guards were already dead. They are also warriors in the level of profound gold core realm, but are far from the disciples of Dragon Palace. Jian Wushuang looked down at the 2 corpses, shaking his head secretly. The disciples of Dragon Palace were the talents who comprehended the essence realm of heaven and earth to a high level. At the Dragon Palace, a disciple of Dragon Palace in the level of profound gold core realm was able to compete with the warriors in the level of exceptional gold core realm. However, Jian Wushuang had beaten a disciple of Dragon Palace who was in the level of profound gold core realm. It was really easy for him to kill warriors at the level of gold core. Moreover, the formless swordsmanship he mastered was the ultimate sword skill which stressed speed. As long as Jian Wushuang used the fifth move of the formless swordsmanship, the two dark silver guards had no chance to struggle and would be killed immediately. After killing the two dark silver guards and picking up their purple soft swords and rings of heaven and earth, Jian Wushuang was far too busy to care about the shocked expressions of those people around him. He turned around and wanted to leave. After he had walked several steps, he stopped suddenly. "What?" Jian Wushuang said. With unprecedented shock in his eyes, he looked out into the distance. He still could see the vibrant jungle. But at this moment, there was a kind of strange feeling emerging in his heart. Meanwhile, a mysterious strength from the sword soul within his body gradually emerged. The sword soul, his sword soul was waking up. Although his sword soul was awakening, he didn't know what it was. He just knew that because of the awakening of sword soul, he could comprehend sword essence with an astounding speed. But now, it was his first mutation after the awakening of sword soul. Chapter 93, Abyss. Jian Wushuang had an odd feeling because he felt a sense of attraction. It seemed that something in front, not far away, was summoning and calling to him. To be exact, it was summoning and attracting his sword soul. What on earth is there? What is summoning me? Jian Wushuang leaped to a branch of a big tree, looking forward. Hesitating for a while, Jian Wushuang decided to investigate. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang directly rushed forward. And he also found that as he was getting closer and closer, his sword soul felt stronger and stronger. Likewise the attractive summoning power. In the meantime, Jian Wushuang rushed toward the source of that power. Meanwhile in the mountain forest where Jian Wushuang had killed two dark silver guards, humph! Is it these two F***K guys that killed so many teammates? The bird-eyed man and other teammates approached the corpses of the two dark silver guards. They thought the one that had spied on them and killed several dozen teammates was a devil, a demon. But now looking carefully, they found that they were also ordinary mortals without 3 heads and 6 arms and only possessed cultivation of profound gold core realm. Pooh! 2 bastards! Useless! The rest of the team were all cursing. Some of them were spitting at the 2 dark silver guards. No one noticed that a coquettish shadow had already appeared in a nearby tree. It was a lady with a bleak face. She was quite beautiful in silver, tightly holding a purple soft sword whose hilt was carved with the number 1. Lao Liu, Lao Qi. Standing in the tip of the tree, the severe-looking lady observed the corpses of the 2 dark silver guards at a glance, and a frozen killing intent flashed in her eyes immediately. Are they? The frosty lady took action at once. They were still cursing when a coquettish shadow moved suddenly. Ah! Ah! 2 miserable shrieks sounded in succession. The next moment, they felt panic. Devil? Devil again. Hadn't he been killed already? Shit. He hasn't. He is coming again. Amidst those frightened voices, the blurry silver shadow moved, again and again, killing people crazily. Just after a while, there were numerous corpses on the ground. Dozens of teammates were dead except the leader, the bird-eyed man. But his arms had already been chopped off. He had lost the ability to struggle. Good for nothings. You aren't likely to kill Lao Liu and Lao Qi. Tell me, who killed them? The bleak lady turned up in front of the bird-eye man, interrogating. The bird-eyed man had been frightened into numbness and immediately told everything he knew. Spiritual sea realm. Lao Liu and Lao Qi were killed just by a spiritual sea realm. The bleak lady's face clouded over. When she waved her hands, a sword directly pierced through the bird-eye man's throat. And then she chased toward the direction where Jian Wushuang left. Pursuing the sense of fate, Jian Wushuang soon came to the convergence of 2 mountains. However, the convergence was cut off in the middle by a dark bottomless abyss. What is this? Jian Wushuang stood nearby the abyss, looking upon the bottom of the dark abyss where the chilly wind blowing. Swoosh! A chilly wind blew on both sides of the mountain wall with a crackling sound. Meanwhile, some mountain stones were blown off. Horrible wind. Jian Wushuang was astonished and knew where this was. The abyss is well deserved as the most dangerous land among innumerable huge mountains. Jian Wushuang looked grim-faced. Before leaving for innumerable huge mountains, he had gotten a map of it. There was information about the natural dangers on it, including the abyss. The abyss, located at the convergence of two great mountains, was bottomless. There was a strong chill wind blowing into the abyss. The force of this chill wind was so terrible that rocks would be cracked into pieces, not to speak of the human body. However, a human warrior could generate a shield of spiritual power to forcibly withstand these chill wind. However, the most terrifying aspect of the abyss was absolutely not the chill wind, but its mystery. Since the abyss had appeared, over a long period, a great many strong warriors, including some warriors of Yin-Yang Void Realm, had attempted to explore it. But they only could enter within a kilometer. Once exceeding that, no one could get out alive. So until now, nobody knew what existed at the bottom and what the secret was. Unknown. Mysterious. As such, the abyss was so frightening and universally acknowledged to be the most dangerous land among innumerable huge mountains. Is it the abyss that attracted me all this time? There was a hint of shock in Jian Wushuang's eyes. The abyss was well known, mysterious, and terrible. What on earth was attracting him over there? Is it the ancestors' land that Aunt had told me before? Jian Wushuang remembered it spontaneously. Ancestors' land. Jian Wushuang also did not know what it was. Ji Weiyue had told him to carefully keep the triple-kill sword, the only token to enter the ancestors' land. In his view, it seemed that in the abyss, the only thing deeply attracting him was the ancestors' land. Of course, Jian Wushuang was uncertain whether it was the ancestors' land below the abyss. Even if confirmed, he dared not go down now. Seriously, it was the abyss. Among other things, he was unable to withstand the chill wind with his present strength. It was no different from going to hell if he entered the abyss impulsively. I should explore it after my strength is increased, murmured Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang felt very curious to find that there seemed to be a relation between the abyss and the ancestors' land. But what made him happy was the changes in his body. Sword Soul, are you completely awake? Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Just on the way, his power of Sword Soul hidden in the body was continually improving, becoming stronger and stronger. Until now, the power of Sword Soul had reached a completely new level. Meanwhile, Jian Wushuang also found that there was something new in his brain. Chapter 94. Crisis. In the vast sea of consciousness, a streak of sword-shaped phantom floated there silently, looking transparent and dreamlike, just like glass, but brighter than ever. The moment that Jian Wushuang recognized this streak, he knew that it was the Sword Soul. Previously, the Sword Soul just began to awaken and had not taken form yet. However, now the Sword Soul had awoken thoroughly and formed a solid sword-shaped phantom. I'm wondering what would happen after my Sword Soul evolved into the sword-shaped phantom. Jian Wushuang was curious, but now the sword-shaped phantom just silently floated in the sea of consciousness, so he could not find out anything. Maybe it would be helpful to my sense of sword essence. Jian Wushuang murmured with a smile. But at that moment, what? Jian Wushuang sensed a sudden feeling of fear, and he turned his head in a rush only to see an alluring silver figure dashing toward him with a purple soft sword. The chilling light reflected by the sword edge surprised Jian Wushuang, and the cold and murderous look in her eyes frightened him. So fast. Much faster and more terrifying than the 4 dark silver guards that I fought before. Jian Wushuang wanted to retreat, but obviously, the sword edge flickering with purple light had already approached him. Jian Wushuang had no time to take out his sword and parry, but he tried his best to force his body to one side. This move had allowed him to avoid hurting vital parts of his body. Shua! The cold sword edge crossed Jian Wushuang's shoulder, tearing his clothes up as blood spattered. A 2-centimeter blood stain emerged from his chest to his shoulder. Seeing this blood stain, even as tough as Jian Wushuang was, he could not stop a chill from going up his spine. Just at that moment, He would have been a dead person if he had reacted even a little bit slower. He could avoid hurting his vital parts. That cold-faced woman looked surprised when Jian Wushuang survived her attack, and then she retreated rapidly. Trying to escape now? Too late. Jian Wushuang shouted, and then he withstood the sharp pain from his shoulder, dashing out with the triple-kill sword. A gust of wind roared. This sword movement. Having a look of fear, the cold-faced woman thrust out her purple soft sword. Clang! The fifth movement of the formless swordsmanship, which Jian Wushuang had used, was blocked by the cold-faced woman. She then fled into the woods behind Jian Wushuang. Ha ha, do you think you can escape? Jian Wushuang said with a snort and lifted the triple-kill sword up high. His tremendous earth sword essence condensed gradually, forming a huge, 3-meter-long and half-meter-wide sword-shaped phantom. Formless sword wave. The eighth move. The majestic phantom quaked a little and directly slashed toward the woods, where the cold-faced woman was hiding. The huge sword-shaped phantom showed its power. The power struck heaven and earth. Immediately, a large number of trees collapsed. Some were even pulled up from their roots. The cold-faced woman was exposed to Jian Wushuang at once. Found you, Jian Wushuang said with a fleeting murderous gaze. What the? The cold-faced woman was deeply shocked by the big patch of rupturing woods. And at that moment, a gust of wind blew over that almost burst her head. Right away, she was buried in the wind. And then, the wind dropped and the swords fell on the ground. The surroundings totally calmed down. Jian Wushuang walked slowly toward the dead body of the cold-faced woman, with his hands covering the bleeding wound on his shoulder. The dead woman's wide-open eyes were filled with shock. A woman! Jian Wushuang looked down at the dead body. Although it was a woman, Jian Wushuang did not dare to underestimate her at all. It was this cold-faced woman that had nearly killed him. Leaning over to take her purple soft sword, Jian Wushuang stared at the number on the sword hilt. Just as I thought. Jian Wushuang understood what happened when he saw the number 1 carved on the sword hilt. She was the leader of the Dark Silver Guard. Jian Wushuang was not surprised. The cold-faced woman was far superior to the Dark Silver Guards that he had met before. Just the time that she chose to attack, the speed that she burst in an instant, the determination that she had to kill, and the sword that she thrust out almost got him into big trouble. Only the leader of the Dark Silver Guard could possess such powerful assassination skills. Regarding the points reward of the Stage 2 missions distributed by the Dragon Palace, to kill an ordinary Dark Silver Guard could only earn you 1,000 points. To kill a leader of a Dark Silver Guard, however, was 3,000 points. Such a big difference between the points made it reasonable for such a great difference in their strengths. With this purple soft sword of the leader of Dark Silver Guard, I have finished my mission for Stage 2. Jian Wushuang sighed slightly and looked over his shoulder unconsciously. The nearly 2-centimeter wound from his chest to his shoulder was still bleeding. The blood had reddened his clothes. I need to first find a place to bind up the wound and recover a little. Jian Wushuang left there immediately. After half a day, near a stream in the innumerable huge mountains, The sword lights were brandished one after another. After binding up the wound, Jian Wushuang had started to practice his swordsmanship. The wound on his shoulder was indeed very severe, but the elixirs from the secret pavilion of the Dragon Palace were magical. After taking the elixirs for only half a day, the pain from the wound was alleviated, and he was getting better. He would recover in no more than 2 days. Flashes of sword shadows fleeted incessantly with straight stabbing or chopping, and every single sword rumbled with a slight heat. With Jian Wushuang practicing his swordsmanship faster and faster, the heat hidden in his swordsmanship became violent and fierce. Hooah! Shouting out loud, Jian Wushuang brandished the triple-kill sword and chopped into a giant tree beside him. Bang! The giant tree, tens of meters high, burst from the middle. Watching this, a trace of a smile appeared on Jian Wushuang's face. Sword essence of raging fire. So this is the sword essence of raging fire. After comprehending the sword essence of gale and the earth sword essence, Jian Wushuang had comprehended a third sword essence. Sword essence of raging fire. Sure enough, now that my sword soul has awakened totally, it is much easier for me to comprehend sword essence, Jian Wushuang said with a slight smile. Before the awakening, he had tried to comprehend the sword essence of raging fire many times, but always failed in the end. But now, he could comprehend the sword essence of raging fire with ease. There was only one reason that the sword-shaped phantom was formed in his sea of consciousness. After that, it was much easier and simpler to comprehend the sword essence. Chapter 95. Stage 3 Task. Such a pity. Though I comprehend some sword essence of raging fire, I don't have the appropriate sword skill to display it now. There is nothing to do but exchange the appropriate sword skill of sword essence of raging fire after going back to the Dragon Palace. Jian Wushuang smiled and then leaped to the top of a big tree. Leaning against the tree trunk, Jian Wushuang took out the last task scroll. I've completed the stage 1 and 2 tasks. What is the stage 3 task? Jian Wushuang wondered with a slight expectation. He was assigned 3 tasks by the Dragon Palace this time. The first one was easy to complete, but the second one was much tougher, which almost killed him. And the third one? Jian Wushuang opened the scroll. After taking a glance at it, he unexpectedly stared with rounded eyes. On the scroll read some words. Stage 3 task. Kill 10 spirit beasts of the exceptional gold core realm. Task location, the innumerable huge mountains. Task description, lots of spirit beasts live in the innumerable huge mountains and countless of them have reached the primordial gold core. Though being in the level of spiritual sea, you defeated a disciple of the Dragon Palace who was a warrior in the profound gold core realm in a face-to-face battle. You are fully capable of killing spirit beasts in the exceptional gold core realm. Task points. Whether these 10 spirit beasts of the fulfillment of the Golden Pill realm are strong or not, each one is worth 1,000 points. Bringing their bodies back to the Dragon Palace will serve as proof. Shit. Even Jian Wushuang could not help cursing while reading the stage 3 task. To kill spirit beasts? Spirit beasts in the exceptional gold core realm? A full 10 of them? Are they kidding? Those elders in the Dragon Palace must want me to go to hell, Jian Wushuang said to himself. In the task description, it referred to a disciple of the Dragon Palace who was a warrior in the profound gold core realm that was defeated by him face to face. Indeed, he did that. But how did he do it? It was not until Jian Wushuang made his opponent use up his spiritual power that he won the battle. However, he was completely suppressed when competing with Nangong Jie. Jian Wushuang clearly knew his strength. It was not a big deal for him to kill a common warrior in the profound gold core realm. But what about competing with the one in the exceptional gold core realm? He barely could compete with a common warrior in the exceptional gold core realm. He surmised that, in the end, he would be suppressed. And to kill spirit beasts in the exceptional gold core realm? Firstly, it was much more difficult to kill spirit beasts than humans because of their different physical conditions. Secondly, spirit beasts in the gold core had intelligence. If they found that they could not beat Jian Wushuang, they would flee rather than foolishly continue to fight with him or even continuously consume their spiritual power. More importantly, Jian Wushuang was not as strong as the spirit beasts in the exceptional gold core realm. Cruel. They are so cruel. Jian Wushuang cursed while gnashing his teeth. But the good news was that the task time was unlimited. Therefore, he could make good preparations before killing those spirit beasts. 3 days later, Jian Wushuang targeted an armored tiger in the exceptional gold core realm. The armored tiger was strong in defense capabilities but not so good in speed. Compared with others, it was relatively weak. At the very beginning, Jian Wushuang naturally chose a weaker one to fight with that was not a threat to him. Jian Wushuang quickly started to attack. Selecting the right time, he made a sneak attack. However, he did not get any advantage because the armored tiger reacted in time. Then, Jian Wushuang made good use of his swordsmanship and sword essence and started to fight with the shellback tiger. In this battle, the man and beast were neck and neck. However, the armored tiger chose to directly leave when it found that it could not beat Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang could do nothing but let it go. Fighting with the armored tiger, he could not prevail at all, let alone did he kill it. Well, take it easy. He sighed and then spontaneously overlooked the endless mountains and woods far away. He knew that he might have to stay in the innumerable huge mountains for a long time. Things happened just as he had expected. There were lots of spirit beasts in the innumerable huge mountains. Spirit beasts in the gold core were countless, and spirit beasts in the exceptional gold core realm were also easy to find. Jian Wushuang wandered alone in the innumerable huge mountains and fought with spirit beasts in the exceptional gold core realm one after another. Jian Wushuang felt great pressure when fighting with any spirit beast in the exceptional gold core realm. He tried his best in each battle. Such crazy slaughtering vastly improved his strength. Especially after his sword soul had completely awoken, he distinctly comprehended sword essence much faster than before. Even so, it was 2 months later that Jian Wushuang succeeded in killing the first spirit beast in the exceptional gold core realm with great effort. As time went by, the hot summer had soon gone, and so had the autumn. Instantly, the cold winter arrived. Jian Wushuang had wandered alone in the innumerable huge mountains for half a year. At the edge of the innumerable huge mountains, visible to the naked eye, a man who wore an animal skin and carried a long sword slowly walked out of the mountains. Judging by his appearance, he was a young man, but he had a calm and resolute face, and his exposed skin was bronzed. Even in the cold winter, this young man wearing thin animal skin did not feel cold at all. Innumerable huge mountains, I have finally gotten out. Jian Wushuang turned and glanced at the endless mountains and forests behind him. He smiled slightly with his mouth turned up. Staying in the innumerable huge mountains for more than half a year, he had suffered a lot and met with danger several times that almost killed him. If he took off his animal skin, many scars on his body would clearly be seen. Most of them were inflicted by the claws of spirit beasts, and some of them were by humans. Among them, a 20-centimeter scar that extended from his breast to his shoulder was the most evident. He had also improved himself so much over these 6 months. And of course, he had completed the Stage 3 task. There were a full 10 spirit beasts in the exceptional gold core realm and their cores lying in his ring of heaven and earth. Walking along the official road, Jian Wushuang did not spend much time before returning to Moon Heart City. The Golden Dragon subsidiary palace of Moon Heart City was still bustling and boisterous. Jian Wushuang, in the animal skin, entered the Golden Dragon subsidiary palace and walked directly to the counter. A black-haired elder, who stood in front of the counter, had met Jian Wushuang half a year ago and knew his status. Therefore, when seeing Jian Wushuang again, he made a respectful face. "Your Excellency," the black-haired elder said in a low voice. No one else around them could hear it except for Jian Wushuang. "I came here to tell you about the task." Jian Wushuang took out a blue-eyed beast with golden horns, handed it over to the elder and said, "The task was assigned half a year ago. Please wait a moment, Your Excellency." Immediately, the black-clothed elder carefully looked at the task list and quickly found the task that Jian Wushuang had accepted to catch the 2-clawed golden dragon guard. And with that breathtaking discovery of the ancient artifact, we conclude Chapter 95. Wushuang has claimed a power that many thought was a myth, but his victory has come at a cost. By revealing his true strength to the shadow enemy, he has signaled his presence to the major power brokers of the Azure Heaven Domain. The quiet life of a disciple is officially over. He has the artifact, but can he escape the forbidden zone before the domain level masters close in? Join us next time for chapters 96, 97, 98, 99, and 100, as Wushuang faces a high-level pursuit and realizes that the conspiracy against his father is much closer than he ever imagined. Thank you for listening to Panda Audiobooks. If you're hyped for the big chapter 100 milestone, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.